We so often hear about threats. Threats that are thousands of miles away.
Operating on foreign soil, yeah.
Exactly. But today, we're uncovering something, well, something profoundly unsettling. We're talking about designated foreign terrorist organizations.
FTOs, right.
That are running these sophisticated, violent networks right here, deep inside American neighborhoods. This is a domestic national security threat, and it's disguised as organized crime.
That is exactly right. And the source material you shared with us, I mean, we're talking critical assessments from the DEA, state-level analysis from places like Nebraska, and DOJ findings on groups like MS-13. It all demands a very serious look.
So what's our mission for this deep dive?
It's straightforward, really. We need to extract the urgent, undeniable truth about how these transnational criminal organizations, or TCOs, are using mass drug production and, frankly, terror to attack our safety and undermine the rule of law.
And we're tracing that path.
We're tracing it from the border straight into the American heartland.
And the thing is, the moment of recognition for this has already happened. The U.S. government made a huge shift in February of 2025.
A monumental shift.
They officially designated 8 major TCOs, we're talking the Sinaloa Cartel, MS-13, as foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs.
And that designation, it confirms this isn't just a law enforcement problem.
No, it's a national security crisis.
It's the formal acknowledgement that these groups use terror tactics, that they actively challenge the state's authority. And you don't have to look far to see the impact.
Not at all.
These FTOs, they are the industrial engine behind the synthetic drug crisis. Just look at the numbers. Synthetic opioids, mostly fentanyl, were linked to 74,702 overdose deaths in 2023.
74,000. It's just a staggering, avoidable loss of life.
It is.
And if you're listening and you think this is only a border state problem, the sources show us some chilling, very localized proof. Federal agents recently arrested a high-ranking MS-13 leader in Grand Island, Nebraska.
Right, in the heartland.
This wasn't some street-level dealer. This individual was a suspected leader of an assassination squad, wanted for 4 homicides in Central America.
And he was hiding in plain sight. It proves that this violent TCO leadership, it's not only operating here, it's embedded.
Okay, let's unpack the weight of that FTO designation. It really changes everything about how the U.S. can combat these groups, doesn't it?
It's monumental because it elevates the fight from, say, just drug enforcement to national counterterrorism. These groups are now formally recognized for using violence, extortion, weapons, and human trafficking.
All of it.
All of it to destabilize the rule of law across the whole Western Hemisphere. They are so much more than just smugglers.
So let's get specific. Who exactly was on that list from February 2025?
It was 8 organizations, 8 groups deemed major national security threats. 6 of them are powerful Mexican cartels.
Right.
The Sinaloa Cartel, CJNG, that's the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, the Gulf Cartel, the Northeast Cartel, the New Michoacan family, and the United Cartels.
And alongside them,
2 extremely violent international gangs whose reach is just extensive. Tren de Aragua, or TDA, and of course, Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13.
when you see that list, you realize the government is targeting the entire architecture of illicit power.
That's right. And the key to supporting that whole criminal architecture, it's the constant flow across the southwest border.
It's the lifeblood of their operation.
Absolutely. The southwest border, or SWB, it's the main conduit. These TCOs are sophisticated, but they still rely on moving multi-ton quantities of product.
So let's really look at the scale of the fentanyl they're moving.
In 2024, U.S. law enforcement seized over 14,000 kilograms of fentanyl just at the SWB.
14,000 kilograms. And to put that in perspective, a single kilo of fentanyl can have up to 500,000 lethal doses.
So we're talking about billions of potential lethal doses being intercepted.
Which means the amount that isn't intercepted is just...
Yeah.
It's hard to even comprehend.
Precisely. And what's really fascinating in the source breakdown is the geographic concentration. A shocking 9,089 kilograms.
Almost 2/3 of the total seizure.
Right. Almost 2/3. It was found just along the Arizona-Mexico border. That tells you that Arizona is a primary operational focus for the cartel's fentanyl engine.
And it's not just fentanyl. Methamphetamine, another synthetic they completely control, is flowing in even higher volumes.
Oh, much higher. We saw 79,070 kilograms of meth seized at the SWB in 2024.
And that's concentrated elsewhere.
It is. The majority of that meth, over 47,000 kilograms, was seized at the California-Mexico border.
So you see different cartels, different products, different crossing points.
It shows a highly adaptive, a decentralized supply chain.
So once they get these multi-ton shipments across, how do they get them all over the country? It can't just be couriers with backpacks.
No, it's instant integration into our own national infrastructure. They use complex networks, sure, tunnels, stash houses near the border. But the moment the product is across, they use major American interstate highways.
I-5, I-10.
I-40, I-35. They are the primary veins for rapid distribution into every single region of the country. This network is designed for speed and for volume.
And that highway system, it explains how the product gets there, but it also explains how the people get there.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the really shocking reality that the violence and the leadership of these TCOs are now actively embedded deep inside American communities, far from any border.
The sources really drive this home. These groups are structurally designed to project violence nationwide. Let's just take MS-13, an extremely violent gang from the 80s. It now operates in nearly all 50 U.S. states. And they have a specific command structure that allows them to coordinate these acts of terror.
And the heart of that command is La Mesa, Spanish for the table. This is more than just a local gang boss we're talking about.
Oh, much more. La Mesa is the senior leadership body. It's essentially the gang's central command. And the sources confirm La Mesa specifically authorizes major criminal acts, including ordering murders across the U.S.
So it's like a board of directors that approves assassinations. Hostile takeovers.
That's a perfect analogy. They set strategy, they command compliance, and they often use proxies to insulate themselves from law enforcement.
And that hierarchy is exactly why that Nebraska arrest is so stunning. It proves these TCOs are confident enough to place high-value leadership assets right in the middle of the country.
Believing they won't be found.
Right.
The details of the arrest of Gerson Emir Cuadra Soto in Grand Island, Nebraska in December 2025, it's a clear warning.
Right.
Soto wasn't just a member. He was wanted for a quadruple homicide in Honduras.
He was suspected of leading an active assassination squad there.
He was. So how does a man like that make it to a quiet residential neighborhood in Nebraska?
That's the question.
Well, it highlights a serious exploitation of the system. The records show he illegally entered the U.S. through Texas back in 2022. He then managed to get a California driver's license.
Using his real name.
Using his true identity. Before making his way to Nebraska. The fact that a high-ranking foreign criminal could establish residency, get legal documents, it just confirms that their leadership is successfully infiltrating the country.
And this particular arrest was part of a larger operation.
It was Operation Take Back America, which targets this exact type of deep infiltration.
And this isn't just an MS-13 problem. The sources show other FTOs are following this same pathway into the interior.
Yes. The Northeast Cartel, the CDN, they use the Omnibus to Mexico, that's the Omex passenger bus company, as a smuggling mechanism.
For drugs and for people.
Potentially for personnel, yes. And their affiliates are known to operate in the upper Midwest, including Nebraska. The interstates are used for more than just product.
And then there's the newer organization, Trinidad or TDA. Their model is especially insidious.
It is a complete exploitation model. TDA focuses on smuggling vulnerable Venezuelan migrants into the U.S., but once they're here...
It's not over.
Not at all. TDA immediately extorts them. They force the migrants into prostitution, organized retail crime, whatever they need to pay off their smuggling debts. They're establishing forced labor networks on U.S. soil.
And they're violent.
Hyper-violent. TDA members have also been linked to contract murder-for-hire operations.
So you have this multi-layered threat. Mass production of deadly drugs, exploitation of people, and targeted violence directed from command structures like La Mesa.
All happening right here. The pipeline for people and the pipeline for drugs are connected. They're aiming for market dominance and domestic embedding.
Okay, let's pivot now to what might be the most insidious part of this crisis. The synthetic scourge. This is targeted poisoning on an industrial scale.
Fentanyl and synthetic opioids, they're still the biggest drivers of death in the United States. Tragically, they surpass all other drug categories combined.
Now, there was some hopeful news. A 25% decline in overall overdose deaths in the 12-month ending in October 2024.
There was. But the lethality of the cartel's product is only increasing.
Because of the deception. The DEA analysis found that out of all the fake pills they seized, something like 5 out of every 10 of them.
That's right, half. Contained 2 milligrams or more of fentanyl.
Which is a potentially lethal dose.
A lethal dose. Think about that for a moment. They are intentionally pressing illicit fentanyl to perfectly resemble legitimate medications like an oxycodone M30 tablet.
They're selling poison disguised as medicine.
It's a strategy. It widens their market to people who would never touch street drugs, and it increases dependency.
And to push that dependency and profit even higher, they're intentionally mixing these chemicals. Drug cocktails are the new norm.
And they're getting terrifyingly complex. The most immediate danger here is xylazine. It's a powerful veterinary sedative known on the street as tranq.
And it's showing up in fentanyl samples more and more.
It is. And the huge problem is that since xylazine is a non-opioid, naloxone, the standard overdose reversal drug, it doesn't work on its effects.
So users are fighting a two-front war, chemically.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical consequences are horrific, aren't they?
They are. The sources detail immense health risks, severe infections that lead to extensive tissue damage, necrosis. It often leads to limb amputation.
And the TCOs are willing to inflict that level of trauma on their own customer base.
Ensure addiction. And they're already adapting to make the mixtures even deadlier.
How so?
They're in a constant race for potency. We're now seeing the emergence of metamidine, sometimes called rhinotranq.
Rhinotranq.
This sedative is estimated to be 200 to 300 times more potent than xylazine. When that's in the mix, it makes an overdose dramatically harder to reverse.
This industrial approach, it's not just opioids. They also dominate the meth market, and the product purity is just through the roof.
It's averaging 95% purity across the U.S. in 2024. That high purity, it reflects their manufacturing capability and their confidence in the supply chain.
And the death toll reflects that.
It does. Deaths tied to psychostimulants, mainly meth, hit over 36,000 in 2023. And that trend has been increasing every single year since 2011.
And they're expanding that market strategically, too. Pressing and marketing meth as fake Adderall or MDMA tablets. Why the disguise?
It's pure market expansion. By disguising it as a common prescription or a recreational drug, they're trying to appeal to younger, non-traditional users who might shy away from powdered meth.
And it's working.
The seizure numbers confirm it. Methamphetamine pill seizures by weight soared to 559 kilograms in 2024. They are actively creating new customer bases with a product designed for immediate, powerful addiction.
So after this deep dive, what does this all mean for you, the listener, living anywhere in the United States?
The official designation of TCOs is FTOs that confirms these groups are not just criminals. They are sophisticated national security threats, and they are actively exploiting the southwest border.
And we've established that the border remains the primary entry point for the vast majority of these deadly synthetic drugs, fentanyl, pure meth, and these terrifying new cocktails.
And crucially, the threat is now localized. It's across the entire U.S. interior. We have documented cases of violent TCO leaders and assassination squad members being arrested in states like Nebraska.
Which proves the depth of the infiltration and the necessity of operations like Take Back America.
And this whole devastating cycle production, smuggling, domestic violence, it all relies on moving immense amounts of illicit profit. Our source material highlighted that these FTOs, who are poisoning our communities, rely on laundering billions of dollars. They use sophisticated global networks, including Chinese money laundering operations, and even stealing and selling state-owned oil from Mexico's Pemex to American companies.
So here's the final thought for you to consider.
If their primary vulnerabilities lie in that financial infrastructure, in their need to turn dirty money into clean profit, should disrupting those financial networks, rather than just seizing drugs after they're already made and shipped, become the absolute paramount priority for our law enforcement and national security agencies?